Astrobot is back in a new colourful PlayStation exclusive 3D platforming adventure. Actually, PlayStation exclusive probably isn't a strong enough phrase. This is a PlayStation exclusive turbocharged by more PlayStation branding and nostalgia than a very PlayStation-y thing. Look, okay, it's just like a lot of PlayStation stuff going on, okay?
This is Astrobot's third outing after the PSVR debut Astrobot Rescue Mission, and it's better than it had any right to be, free PS5 follow-up Astro's Playroom. This little guy is quickly becoming the most adorable mascot that PlayStation never really had, and on a personal note, my son and the light of my life. These games are a true celebration of all things PlayStation, with constant winks and nods to the hardware, characters, and games that have been a part of the console's history. It's PlayStation propaganda on par with the Lego Movie, and there's a cynical little part of my brain that, sees what they're doing, and on paper, it's the kind of thing that sounds almost gross. I mean, really, it is just one giant corporate marketing exercise, isn't it? It's a way to give character to the inanimate bits of plastic we put under our TVs and hold in our hands, and make us fall in love with the brand of PlayStation. In a particularly harsh light, you could see it as just another bit of fodder in the ongoing console wars, a way to rally fanboys and girls under the banner of PlayStation. And you know what? Sign me up and deploy me to the front lines, because I am willing to lay down my life for Astrobot's health and happiness. And I'm not just saying that because I'm some diehard PlayStation fangirl. I'm saying it because these games genuinely slap, and Astrobot takes it to a whole other level. This might be one of the best platformers I've ever played. Move over, Mario 64, go huddle up with Banjo-Kazooie, you old hacks, cause Astrobot is taking a spot in the Hall of Fame. For real though, Astrobot is pure fun and joy. It is unashamedly the most at all times. I'm talking sunshine, rainbows, candy, being fed directly into my eyeballs with a funnel, and I bloody love it. I don't want to say it's the perfect game, perfect doesn't exist, but if it did, this comes damn well close. I mean, look at him! Look at him! So, nice segue. Things kick off with our crew of Astrobots cruising through the cosmos aboard their PS5 spaceship, when a big green alien bully comes along and wrecks their day. And he's called Xbox. I'm just kidding, he's actually called Nebulax. This space jerk ends up scattering the crew and the pieces of the ship across 5 nebula. You then head off as Astrobot on your little DualSense fighter craft to enter each level while you'll try to rescue your lost bot friends. As you rescue more of your crew, you can then go back to a central hub area, where you can command them like Pikmin to help you find extra bots and collectibles. And, most importantly, give you access to new areas, which in turn will unlock new nebula for you. The controls in combat are pretty straightforward. You have a double jump, which shoots lasers out of your feet that's also an attack, alongside a standard whack, which can be charged up for a prolonged spin attack. At a basic level, Astrobot isn't doing anything we haven't seen other games do, but its execution sets an extraordinarily high bar for the genre. Controls and combat feel tight and responsive, with a great variety of enemies and bosses. And it's got a level of technical polish that would make Nintendo proud, or maybe jealous. And where it absolutely sings, sometimes quite literally, is in its level design, special abilities, and just general personality. Every square inch of every level is packed with something cute or funny to look at, with a sort of Pixar-like quality giving everything life. Interactivity is everything in Astrobot, and it's something I could prattle on about till the heat death of the universe. Curiosity is always rewarded. See a cute pile of leaves? You can go play in it. That cow looks cute? Well, you can go lay on it. It's ultimately silly and pointless in terms of getting you from point A to point B, and all it really serves is your childlike wonder. And I love that that is as high a priority as anything else here. Also, I'm a big believer in the idea that you can't play graphics, as in good graphics don't make a game fun. But oh boy, oh howdy, oh my, you should have heard the giggles and shrieks that came from this gob as I was mucking around with the graphics effects here. The way they let you splash around with the impressive fluid physics or just fling around thousands of particles legit makes me feel like a kid running amok in a ball pit. And just visually in general, the game is beautiful and probably one of the best looking PS5 games I've played. But where the creativity goes up to 100 is in how each level gives you a special ability that completely changes the gameplay. From satisfying slappy extendo boxing gloves, a jetpack chicken that lets you jump extra high, an elephant backpack that can suck up puddles and make its own platforms. Honestly, the list just goes on. I mean, you can be a sponge. PlayStation, please make a sponge. Sincerely, me. Across the game's main 30 missions, each level has a unique item. There are a couple of repeat uses, but I think we can forgive that. There's also a heap of ways they make use of all the various features of the DualSense, from its motion controls that let you steer things, to special rumbles that let you detect things. Although I will never not feel stupid blowing into my controller. My only other thing, and this is a bit of a nitpick, is when you are using the rumble features and special functions, it turns the controller into a plastic rattlesnake. This thing is rattling and buzzing and vibrating constantly. Not a massive deal, but a bit distracting if you don't have headphones on. Outside of that though, the level settings are all wonderfully creative. Sure, they run the gamut of platforming cliches like snowy, lava-y, underwatery types, but what about a level based on a Japanese onsen? Or a giant singing tree? Or one where you get to be a tiny little mouse? There's also just loads of little nods to classics throughout too, like how these crates might remind you of something from a certain Bandicoot series. Oh yeah, and each nebula ends with a special level that pays homage to a PlayStation classic, and these are a massive highlight. Like the God of War level, which comes complete with the iconic axe throwing mechanic, ravens to find, and puzzles to solve. The way they use Kratos' "boy" as a drop in the soundtrack is also just, oh, it's so good. Put that on in a nightclub and watch all the nerds freaking lose it. I have to give a general shout out as well to the So Happy It's Bordering on Deranged soundtrack. It is fantastic, especially with those cute little lyrics thrown in there. Pure dopamine. In general, Astrobot is a pretty easy game. Platforming is pretty straightforward and combat isn't much of a challenge, and when you do mess up, plentiful checkpoints will only put you back mere seconds with no lives or penalty to worry about. It does demand your attention though, as little Astro can only take one hit, so you can't just switch off. It walks a great line though, like obviously you won't be coming to this for Super Meat Boy level challenges. But there's enough little moments from boss fights and slightly trickier areas that make beating levels always feel consistently satisfying, and it's something that gamers of almost any age can have fun with. Oh, but also, this end bit, where you try to hit a box of coins as you exit the level, my personal enemy. I don't think I hit a single one. Of course, it is still very much a collectathon, with each level having bots to collect as well as puzzle pieces, which aren't super hard to find, but also tend to be just tucked away enough to feel rewarding to discover. I do also love how many of the bots are based on classic PlayStation characters. It just gives a great little hit of nostalgia when you find one from a game you love. Remember Journey? And hey, Knack's here too. Why not? Like the best collectathons, everything you collect feels meaningful. Sure, you need bots just to get through the game, but the way they let you build your little Astro army and unlock extras in the central area makes you want to track down every single one of them. Not to mention, seeing this horde of Astrobots follow me around like the world's most adorable squadron just brings me great joy. Likewise, the puzzle pieces you collect will eventually complete, you guessed it, puzzles. These unlock new buildings in the hub, like a change room to put on new costumes, a paint shop to pimp up your DualSense fighter, and a gacha machine, which in turn lets you spend coins to unlock new costumes, paint schemes, and little extra something-somethings for the hub world, like a bowling alley or a Katamari bot or a Kratos bot. You can probably finish off the main missions in about a day, and then going back to find the things you missed and collect all the bots would definitely add a few hours. And speaking of things you missed, I did love how after you've finished a level, you can purchase a little birdie that will help you detect anything left to collect. It's a great optional extra to those levels where you just can't seem to find that last secret, but also don't want to have to resort to using some kind of guide. There are also a lot of fun secrets to find. Certain levels have special hidden warp exits that lead you to whole new levels in an extra hidden nebula. And the nebula also have more hidden levels in them. Flying around in your ship, you'll be able to unlock a range of mini challenges. Some of these include special square, triangle, X, and O theme levels, where you'll find the hardest bits of Astrobot, throwing up some of the trickiest platforming and 0 checkpoints to help you out. Those who enjoy a bit of a challenge will definitely get a kick out of these. It is just pure happiness distilled into a perfectly sized game. From start to finish, top to bottom, it's polished, beautiful, silly, charming, and just a whole heap of fun. Sure, it can be a bit on the nose at times with its overt celebration of all things PlayStation, but I think there's a lot there to celebrate. And to be honest, when a game is this good, it could be simping for hot garbage and I would still love it. Play.